We're back. You're listening to Executive Leaders Radio. This is your host, Herb Cohen, and we'd like to introduce Susanne Svizeny, who's the Regional President of Greater Philadelphia Ocean First Bank. Suzanne, what is Ocean First Bank? What are you guys doing?
Ocean First is a regional bank that was established in 1902, servicing the New York to Philadelphia market. And I've joined to support the Philadelphia market.
How many employees and what kind of revenue are you guys doing?
Well, it's about 1,000 employees.
Wow.
And we're about $8 billion in assets.
And where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Switzerland and immigrated here when I was 2 to the United States when my father was transferred here to start a subsidiary of a Swiss firm.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have 2 brothers, younger.
So
I'm the oldest.
The oldest of 3. All right, Shannon.
Suzanne, how young were you when you started skiing and why?
I know. Well, Swiss have to ski, right? So we started very young in our family. When I learned how to walk, I was put on skis, and our family would always go out skiing. And my mother really didn't like it, so she would sit in the lodge. And my 2 younger brothers were much more athletic than me, and started exceeding me in their skills. So I was kind of left to my own devices on the slope, and would at 7, 8 years old be going up the chairlift by myself. And I think I really developed at that point, a lot of my relationship building skills, because I got to know a lot of people as I was kind of skiing and meeting people on the chairlift.
At 8 years old, when somebody's sitting next to you on a chairlift and they start a conversation with you, a lot of 8-year-olds would stop one answer to their questions, and you kept the conversation going. Where did that courage come from?
Well, the courage, I think, comes from my mom. My mom left Austria during the World War II and went to Switzerland and to get a job, because there weren't jobs during the war. And just think about that time in history. To have the courage to leave a country on your own. I know they were next door to each other, but it was a big step, and that's where she met my father. And she's always had courage, and has always thought a little bit differently about what women should be doing in the world.
Kayla?
Suzanne, when did you first start feeling like you needed to prove yourself?
I felt like I needed to prove myself on that ski slope, unfortunately, because, skiing was important in our family, and my brothers are really good at it. So I really worked hard to build my skills and to try to keep up with my father and my 2 brothers. Never really happened, but that kind of has stuck with me throughout my life. So I focus my energies differently on career and other ways that I could excel and demonstrate my importance and my abilities.
Wow. Kate?
When we were in the green room, you mentioned something about your mother, and she knew when you were different. What did she say to you?
My mother knew that I wasn't going to be the one, even though my father kind of thought that women stay home and take care of the family, because that's what he was used to. But my mother realized that I was not good at home ec. I couldn't sew and I couldn't cook. So she said, "You better marry a chef." And while I was working at a restaurant during college, I met my husband, and I did marry a chef.
Alexa, what are you thinking?
Suzanne, you mentioned skiing with your brothers. What kind of relationship did you have with them growing up?
It was competitive because my father really wasn't one to give a lot of positive feedback. So I think we were all striving for that attention and reinforcement of our abilities. So it was competitive. Again, I focused my energies on other things than athletics. They were very athletic, and I was in the marching band, and I did other kinds of things that I could prove myself independently.
Sure. Can you give me some examples of how you could prove yourself independently from them?
Well, school, academics. I ended up graduating 3 years from high school because I really wanted to get out in the world and demonstrate my capabilities. So I finished high school in 3 years. And my brothers kind of realized I was far exceeding them, so that was my competitive strength. And I still think about that every day. How am I relevant? How am I helping? How am I improving my skill sets? Because skiing was one thing, but every day we need to improve both our technical and our relationship skills.
Sure. And you mentioned you finished school in 3 years. Certainly not a lot of people do that. How do you think that plays out today in the work environment?
I still have a high expectation to accomplish a lot, and that's kind of the driver in my core, driven for success. But what I really like is building those relationships with customers and team members and bringing them along with me, because I think you're always better when you're doing it together. So.
Matthew?
So tell me, as you were getting through school in 3 years, tell me what your relationships were like with your friends.
It was a different time in my high school, and there was a lot going on. So it was really
What was going on?
there was just a lot of racial issues and cliques, and I wasn't the cheerleader. I was the one in the marching band playing the drums with the guys in the back row. So it was just a different kind of environment, and I just didn't feel like I fit in.
Why not?
It just wasn't something. I didn't have the passion around the high school. I wanted to get to college, and I did. I was 17 when I went to college, and the drinking age at that time was 18. So it was a different experience. I was a little
when
immature.
you say you didn't have the passion, so what do you have the passion for?
I have a passion for building relationships, friendships, deep friendships.
How's that?
Mentorships.
How's that have anything to do with your being the regional president, Greater Philadelphia Ocean First Bank?
It's all about the people. I mean, it's about everything I do in
Who's the young lady sitting next to you, and what's her role?
Hi, I'm Jill Hewitt, Director of Investor Relations and Corporate Communications
How long
at
have you
Ocean
been?
First Bank.
How long have you been with Ocean First Bank?
I joined Ocean First in 1996, right
How many
after
years
our
is that?
IPO. That's
How many years is
23
that?
years.
Mhm. So you've been there 23 years, and what's Suzanne bringing to the party?
We are thrilled to have Susanne as our 4th regional president at Ocean First. She is tasked with the huge opportunity here in Philadelphia and really establishing our greater Philadelphia market area. She'll be opening up at 2 Logan Square in about 6 weeks.
What's her effect on the team been?
Absolutely amazing.
What are you talking about?
Her challenge to all of us is to exceed our own expectations. She builds relationships in every room she walks into.
Well, it sounds like that's what was going on the ski lift when she was 8 years old, talking to everybody else, around. Who's got the next question here?
Suzanne, who are you trying to prove yourself to, most importantly?
I think my dad. He's not alive anymore, but I always really strive to make him proud of me.
And did you do that?
I believe I did.
How come? Tell me about that.
Well, he was able to come to. I had a number of opportunities to be recognized during my career, and while he wasn't a very outspoken person, I didn't say it verbally. I could see it in his face.
How'd that make you feel?
It made me feel great.
How'd you see it in his face? Was he sitting next to you?
Yes, of course. Yeah,
You invited him to this.
I invited him to these events.
What was it? What event was it? What award ceremony did you
Well,
see?
I've gotten a number of different ones, and I've been very blessed that way in terms of women of distinction. I was also named. I chair the board at the College of New Jersey, and I was named Alumni of the Year, which was probably one of my most special ones to be named that at the college that you attended.
So your father was with you for some of these?
Yes.
And what did he say to you?
He never said a lot. That's he really showed it in his body language, in his pride. You could see it on his face.
Kate, what are you thinking?
I was just really thinking about where did you get the nurturing part of your life from? Because you have a very nurturing nature.
Yeah, I got that from my mom. My mom was just a warm person. She was a seamstress, and she had people and women coming over to the house all the time that she was sewing for. So again, got to meet a lot of different people that she was sewing for, but she built relationships and took care of other people's children because it's just something she loved to do. So I think taking care of people and that nurturing heart was what she was all about.
Wait a second. I thought banking was all about numbers and money and stuff like that. But what's coming to me is the fact you really wanted to prove yourself to your dad. You're really competitive. But you've got this really deep nurturing nature, and I'm trying to figure out how this nurturing thing is helping you build the bank. Could you tell me about that?
Well, it's about investing in people and helping others be successful. And so that is what I've really enjoyed doing my entire career, especially around women in business. It's been something that I've stood for. I have a passion for helping women succeed.
What have you stood for?
Women.
What do you mean?
And helping them be successful, gaining their confidence, really getting noticed and visible. The field that I was in was mostly male-dominated commercial banking.
Did you get to know any of the clients of the bank?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you like doing that stuff?
I love it. I mean, I'm meeting entrepreneurs every single day, and it's so exciting to hear their stories.
I thought the thing about a bank was they just look at the numbers. That's the end of the story. But
no, it's more about the people.
What do you
It's
mean
about
it's
the
more
people
about
and
the
their
people?
success and their commitment to their business. And the numbers, the numbers are the numbers, and obviously they're important, but it's around who's going to pay you back on a loan. It's the people, it's character, it's integrity.
Wow. What's the website address to this bank?
oceanfirst.com.
Let me have that one more time.
Oceanfirst.com.
We've been speaking with Susanne Svizeny, who's Regional President, Greater Philadelphia Ocean First Bank, here on Executive Leaders Radio. Don't forget to visit our website, executiveleadersradio.com. We'll be back in a moment right after this break.